Happy New Year! Hello and welcome to another episode of the Young Tongues podcast. My name is Barbara Fountain and I am the CEO and founder of the Young Tongues, a peer-to-peer support group for young tongue cancer patients. And with me, as always, my fabulous co-host, Jamie. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Woo! 2025!
We have made it. You know what that also means? The podcast has officially been going for a year.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, no. We thought we were not going to make it over 2 weeks. So to make it over for an entire year, it's incredible. How's your Christmas been, Jamie?
Christmas was good. I host every year, so everybody flew in, stayed at our house. It was a lot of people for a long amount of time. But now I have a couple more days left till I go back to work, and we're just kind of in like that coming off the high of Christmas and just like, what day is it? What do we do? Like, we're just relaxing.
Just relaxing.
Yeah.
Now, before Christmas, we talked about all the preparing for Christmas. How did you manage? Like, were you able to have rests? Do you feel absolutely exhausted?
No. I was so tired. Like, I took everyone to the airport and I came home, and they went to the airport early. I came home and I just sat on the couch, and the couch and me became one. And I sat there and I was like, I had multiple layers on because I was freezing in the morning. I just kept my jacket on and everything, and I was just sitting there doom scrolling, but I was like, I'm not moving. Kids came down. I got them those VR goggles for Christmas, so I'm never going to see their face again, but it kept them occupied for enough time for me to just sit and melt into the couch further and further. And I was like, you know what? I haven't had a nap in 10 days, and I usually nap like for a little bit. That's why I can't. I don't know if it's getting old or I don't have the energy, but I need naps.
All those plans we laid out, all that great advice we gave that we didn't take ourselves.
Yeah, you know what? I had to be everywhere all at once, and hosting, you're just like, oh, is everything okay? It's this. I worried about my baseboards. Who cares? Who cares? I was like, we live here. There's going to be stuff. But I was like worried about like the oddest things to make sure everybody was okay. And I was constantly being like, are you okay? Or do you want to go do something? Are you bored? Because they were just like sitting, and it didn't occur to me that like maybe this is their vacation, relaxing too at my house. But I was like, go. What do you need? What do you want? Is that in the air fryer? Oh, and we had a fire. My sister tried to make crostinis, and she lit them on fire. So we had a fire.
Literal fire.
Yes, out of the oven.
There's never a dull moment in your house, is there?
No. And the kids were like, fire! I was getting the fire extinguisher out. They're like, my dad was like, you don't need that. He's like batting it out with his hand. So there was a fire, multiple glass breakings. It kind of, it was a lot. But
well, see, it just goes to show it doesn't matter if you had a cancer diagnosis or not. Normal life in its whole chaotic way just swooshes back in.
Yeah, totally.
And everything messy.
Yeah. So I didn't even have time to think about cancer and how like I'm not able to. I was very distracted. But it was nice to see family and meet some new people. Because some new people came over that are now part of the family. So that was interesting. And I am really like I'm really enjoying like the quiet and just I'm okay. My plan, I'm saying it now, is to start gradually taking stuff down, put it away, and not on one old rage clean, put away all of Christmas. I'm going to do it little by little, start putting it away. I say that now so I can listen to this later and be like, oh, I need to have it down before January 10th.
Yeah. So shall I tell you what I've done for that? I told my husband he has to. I just told my husband it needs to all be down and cleaned, and he was like, "Okay." Lottery! I won the lottery.
But wasn't it? It's about like the rule was it's bad, or I don't know. Is this a rule I made up? You can't take your Christmas decorations down until after New Year.
Yeah. So yeah, so it will be up until like the 1st or the
Oh,
2nd.
okay.
Yeah.
But
But
he's just
I've
responsible
just
for doing
oh,
it.
yeah, I've just put it on the to-do list, and I said, this is all need to be before we go back to work. This all has to be tidied and be put away, because the trouble is, if we don't do it there and then, it will still be there in February.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the outside decorations will still be there in February, and we'll get a note from our neighbors because I'm not doing the outside. Anyway,
P.S. It is not Christmas anymore.
no, but we celebrate all year long. We got a fog machine, we got strobe lights. Uh, we have it all here at the Pals. So, how was your Christmas? I know you had
My
your mom and
Christmas.
dad.
Yeah. We had my parents over from Switzerland. It was a lot more action-packed than what we originally thought. So we always had like a full a full spreadsheet of activities going from one place to another. My dad's ex-military, right? Royal Air Force. So I've been brought up on lists and needing a plan, and my dad needs to know in advance where we're going, what he needs to wear, how we're doing it. So anyhow, I had that all planned, all locked in. Then unfortunately, my brother-in-law had a medical episode, which meant so he had a fit just before Christmas and broke his shoulder in multiple places. And
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just, yeah, it's a bless him. He's in a really bad state, and it was like, oh, okay, what we're gonna do now? So we volunteered to also have my parents here, but also invite his brother and sister and their 2 kids. So we went from a Christmas for 4 to 8 in a matter of a day.
Wow.
After we'd already done the shopping, but turns out we really didn't need to buy anything more because we had like enough for 12, so it was fine. We still had leftover even with 8. So but it means I think it was mostly more stressful for Nick, to be honest, because he just had to cook more. So and it was actually really nice to have kids here, because otherwise it would have just been 4 adults drinking, I guess. So with the kids we had some games and stuff, and that was nice. That was really lovely. And my parent-in-laws are looking after my brother-in-law, so speedy recovery from here. But that's gonna take some time. So I don't know what it is with this time of year. Our family seems to get bad news this time of year. But other than that, we had a really lovely Christmas. We went to the circus, we went to the football, we went to the pub, so all the ticks. And it was only really on the last day where we've had a bit of cancer incident. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I hope everyone listening will get what I mean and feel what I'm feeling. Nick had to have some scans done on his gallbladder for something called polyps. But this was a long time ago, and then we never got the letter, or it got stuck in the post. And basically, he was meant to have this scan like over a year ago. But like I said, they somehow forgotten about him. And then we got a phone call out of the blue in the autumn saying he really needs to go for this scan. We're like, oh, great. So on Friday morning, he'd gone for his scan just before Christmas, and on Friday morning we got a phone call at 8 a.m. And all they said on the phone, so they woke us up. It's the first day after Christmas that the doctor's surgery opens. And they said, oh, Mr. Fountain, we've got your scans back. They're abnormal. Can you be in by 10? We're like, yeah, of course. But obviously, my brain straight away went, this is not good. Not again. Like, I don't know. My brain just straight away went to the worst scenario. And I don't know if anyone else feels like it, but I've noticed, obviously, we already have that increased anxiety about getting recurrence. But I also find I have a much more increased anxiety about the people around me getting cancer. So whenever somebody tells me, oh, I've got this or that, I'm like, get it checked out. Like, I'm really a bit OTT about it.
Oh, totally. Same.
Yeah, and I could feel Nick was worried, and he's like, "What do you think this is?" And I'm like, "Well, I've got my thoughts. I'm going to go in the shower," because I just couldn't say anymore because I was just thinking, you're just going to scare the living life out of him. But it's also this is the type of language we've all heard, isn't it? And the rush of, oh, you need to be in at 10, like you need to come in for the first available appointment. You're like going, oh my God, this is going to be something really, really serious. I went into the shower and I absolutely sobbed away, just going, not again, not us again. And yeah, we went to the doctor and he turned around and said, how can I help you? We're like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, what can I do for you? And we're like, well, you rang us. And it turns out there is absolutely nothing wrong with Nick's scans. They just confirmed what we already knew. I was so angry. I mean, I was relieved, of course.
Oh my God.
But very quickly followed by sheer fuming anger of going, how dare you put us, like, what on earth? Well, it didn't help that this doctor had like the worst beds. Well, he just wasn't a very good doctor. And actually, subsequently, I have moved my husband into the doctor surgery I go to. I said, nah, you're not going to this place anymore. This is rubbish. This
Seriously?
Yeah, he just basically.
So what was the mix-up? Was they looking at someone else's scan and called the wrong person, like at normal, or did he just look at it and go, "No, everything looks fine to me"?
Yeah, no, not at all. We have no idea what happened there. Absolutely not. And I was really. I have to admit, I've not realised how lucky I am with the last two doctors I've had because we moved house. I've had to move doctor surgery. So I obviously had the doctor that I had when I was diagnosed, and she was great. And I also felt like she gave me a bit of extra attention, but she really helped me understand stuff. And then in between, I've had other, and when I say doctors, I mean like general practitioners. So the sort of the guys who do everything and anything. And yes, I've had a couple of some not so good experiences, but not bad experiences. And now I'm at my new doctor's surgery, and again, they've been great. They got me diagnosed with this lipedema thing, which is super hard to diagnose. So I'm super happy. Sitting in with my husband, and he said to me after, oh yeah, this happens every time I go and see a doctor. And I'm like, well, no wonder you don't want to see it, because this guy made us feel like, why the hell are you here, sort of thing. And he said to us, oh, do you have the NHS app? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, well, you can look at your results on there. And I'm like, oh, hold on, this is a doctor by app. You still need to interpret what this means, because I actually then looked at Nick's scan results, and I said, well, even if we looked at that, this doesn't mean anything to us.
Right. How do we know?
No. And I sort of asked, like, oh, okay, so now we know he has that. What do we need to do? I was, just the normal things, just like be healthy. And we're like, what the hell does that mean? Like,
oh my God, get out of there.
Yeah. So straight away, and he was just rude. And I was just like, yeah, no, this is it. You're no longer going to that doctor's surgery. Again, a man thing. He's been going to the same surgery for his entire, since childhood. And I'm like, no, if you're not happy with a service, you can move.
So he's probably thinking, this is how they always are. Isn't this how doctors are?
Exactly. And Nick's had some serious health stuff through his life. Not nothing cancer, but stuff that needs looking at by a doctor. And no wonder this guy never wants to go and see a doctor. And that infuriates me, because that makes our work in terms of being a cancer charity so much harder. No wonder nobody wants to go and show a bump or a lump if they feel they're going to be an inconvenience to their GP. So I was just like, just honestly. We went for a coffee with my parents after, and I was 150, and I think the entire coffee place. Oh,
I'm sure you were fired
up. Message. Everyone got the message. Barbara is not very happy. Yeah, and then also the PTSD of it, and then suddenly bless, my mum said something. She didn't mean it in that way, but she said something, and it triggered, and I just like in floods of tears and going like, this is not okay when it comes to the health of my husband. Like, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It was just,
Oh no, yeah.
yeah, it was like that anxiety was real, and I was just really, really worried about Nick. So,
Yeah, and then you go there and to be like, wait, you called us. You told me like that. And for him to be like,
yeah.
well, do you have the app? What a jerk.
Yeah. So anyhow, but all is good. Nick's absolutely healthy. We both need to lose a bit of weight. Nothing new there. So yeah, he's now got a new doctor because of that. So actually, all in all, probably a blessing. As my mother would say, try to see the positive. It's probably a blessing.
Well, the
Yeah.
student, yeah, try to find the positive. Yeah, yeah, my mom's that way too.
Yeah, but it's this time of year, so
Yeah.
with it having been the new year, obviously my cancerversary being on New Year's Eve is at the time of recording just around the corner. So it's a very strange time of year for me anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to approach it this year because I feel like, I'm 6 years out now.
Yeah.
So am I still meant to have a cancerversary 6 years out now? Because I'm like in this new era. I'm no longer in the healing era. I'm like in this era of, oh, but you're so much better now, aren't you? Or everything's okay now. I'm in that era where I still feel this has happened to me. I still live with the consequences. My life has changed. But everyone looking in from the outside will not realise that I still struggle unless I tell them so, which I do on a regular, just to remind people this shitty things happen to me, and that's why I sometimes lose my shit. But no, but also, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It feels really weird this year. It feels like, am I still allowed to post my cancerversary, and am I still allowed to feel this way? Am I just meant to be like, okay now and move on with life? I feel like sometimes that's the expectancy from like society of like, okay, you're past your 5-year mark, you're good, it's not come back, so just get on with it. Stop. It's almost like shut up and get on with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way too sometimes when I have to be like, I feel like I have to do my spiel every time. Like, no, even though I don't have it anymore, I have all these side effects that like affects my life daily. And it's like you're telling this like long story to like, I don't know, the barista getting my coffee because I couldn't say like macchiato. Can't say it. But like, I feel like there it is. But I feel like I have to like constantly tell them like, no, I'm this way because of this, even though it happened this long ago. It still changed my life. It still affects me.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. So once this episode airs, you will have seen what I've put out on social media. I don't know yet. I don't know. I
Do it.
But
what is it?
Well, yeah, I'll definitely put something out because
Yeah.
that's just not being genuine to who I am, because I share everything with the world. I'm an oversharer. If you guys haven't cottoned on to that yet, oh my God, you're late to the party. But yeah, no, and I definitely will put something out. But I feel like I also want to, I almost want to like name this weird era that I'm in now. This, you don't have it anymore. So it's almost like, I at least feel like society's looking at me and like, oh, just get over it and get on with it. But it has, and you know what? No, sorry, I just changed my mind mid-sentence. That really doesn't help on a podcast. I was going to say to some degree, probably yes, but the fact that I don't have the career that I had when I was diagnosed. Also, I have a feeling that Nick and our life together would have panned out quite differently without the diagnosis. You know, we were freshly engaged. about to get married, and I think there was this whole vision that we would have children like fairly soon, and it's now 6 years later and it hasn't happened, for lots of different reasons, not just cancer related, although the cancer has played a big role. But I do feel like, yeah, I am still dealing with the consequences of that thing that's happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel I have this guilt, because it sounds so stupid, because I didn't have radiation, because I didn't have chemo, because and I'm putting the air quotes on there for anyone who's not watching a video, I only had the surgery. And I don't know why I'm undermining my own experience and my own trauma. I'm constantly minimizing it to myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, in a way, like I'm understanding, like, because you chose not to have the radiation, right? Yeah, so, like you have, it's tricky
It was
because,
it was a gamble, let's be honest.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I feel grateful and lucky. Yes, so lucky. But it almost feels like, I don't know, it feels like I shouldn't be making such a big fuss about this.
No, not you. No, not at all. Like I totally get like, well, I only just had the surgery because like you had said earlier, like we hear about a lot of people's stories that it kind of changes the way you think about what happened to you. But no, that it's a huge surgery, and it changed, like, cancer changes your life. It changes, who you, like, instantly you're a different person, and like you went through something that altered the course of your life, and it changed, like, yeah, you're doing something totally different than you would have done 6 years ago.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And that's where I need to have a word with myself. And actually, it's weird that I'm having this inner dialogue, which I'm now sharing with all of you guys. But I'm having this inner dialogue, even though outwardly within the Young Tongues, I communicate something totally different towards others, and I feel totally different towards others. So let's say I'm me joining the Young Tongues, and like, I'm not me, but I'm having this conversation with another patient who's in the same situation as me and has just said what I have said. I would say to them, no, don't be daft. You have heard the words, you've got cancer. And that in itself is going to turn your entire life topsy-turvy. That it has a huge impact. It doesn't matter how much treatment or how little treatment you had after that. And yes, there will always be people who are worse off than you, but there will also be people who are better off than you, aka the people who haven't been told that don't have cancer. And there's plenty of them about. So yeah, it's like, yeah, it's sort of putting that into frame, and that there is no, we say we actually have that as a community rule. We don't play top trumps with our cancer. I think we need to find a new word for it, because it has too many anecdotes to some sort of president or something. But, there's this game, Top Trumps. But basically, no one's experience is worse or better. We're all, of course, the experiences are different, but we don't judge them. That's what I'm trying to say. In a long-winded way. That's what. But we don't cross compare, going, oh, I had it worse than you, or you had it better than me, and so on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's devastating being told those, like, it's cancer. Like, you change. Everything changes for you, and it doesn't matter what the treatment was. It's just your life has significantly changed.
Speaking about the future, shall we look forwards, Jamie? Just doing a slight change of subject before I get too philosophical.
Yes. Let's talk about the future. 2025. Let's talk about it.
Oh God! How did that happen?
Yeah, I felt like 2024 was like I lived lifetimes in this year. Like I felt like I'm like, oh, it dragged its feet. It sometimes it no, at all times it dragged its feet. I don't know why this year was so long for me.
Oh, mine's just gone past like a whoosh. I just did I've done my highlight reel of the year. And it's weird though, because I was sort of sitting here trying to think back of the things that I've done this year. And all I could think about was how many days I wasted having fatigue. But then I went through like all my lit video clips of the year. And I was like, oh my God, I've been doing so much hiking. I've just been walking nonstop this year. And I've had so many great adventures, and I was like, oh yeah, we did this, and we had the football, the Euros, and we had this party and that, and suddenly my highlight reel was like 3.5 minutes long, and I'm like chopping this whole thing up into 90 seconds, and I was like, oh no, I've had a brilliant year. I just didn't realize. It's just been really busy.
See, that's amazing. I can tell you I did no hiking. So already, like...
Oh, but you did some camping.
I did do some camping.
You don't sound happy about that, Jamie.
Yeah, we have not been back or planned any future camping trips, but I'm a team player. I will... Yeah.
Well
but
done,
2025 has some luxury resorts in my mind. All right. So what are we doing in 2025? Are we manifesting, or do we have stuff that's already planned?
Well, so from a personal point of view, I have decided not to have any New Year's resolutions because they never work out. However, one thing that has really worked for me this year is I, at the beginning of the year, started some new habits. So the whole walking, the working with a personal trainer. I started singing again, which has helped me a lot with my speech as well. So I just want to focus even more on the habits. Also with the whole lipedema thing, I don't really get a choice. I've got at least 5 new habits that I didn't really want. so they're getting incorporated. It includes a dry brush. Who would have thought that was a thing?
Oh, I love dry brushing. I do dry brushing.
I am joining the dry brush club. That and lymphatic, like there's lymphatic points to like help your lymphs to drain. Again, another thing I've never done before. But the most exciting thing just arrived yesterday. And it's a vibration board. So if you ever want to cheer yourself up, if you're thinking to yourself, I wonder what Barbara's doing today, I'm most likely going to be standing on a board that's vibrating whilst trying to type out emails, because that apparently is my life now. So there you go.
I see those all over TikTok, actually. The vibrating boards, right? Is it those? It's like they're good.
They're good, but they're also a bit of a scam. So they're good for like lymphatic drainage and stuff, but they also claim to do all sorts of other things, which they probably don't. But with the whole like for the specific need that I need it should really help. But because I've got lipedema on my arms as well, I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but I saw this video, and it basically tells me to lay on the floor and then put my arms onto the vibration box. So it's just, oh God, I'll report back on the silliness of it all. But yeah, so that's like from a personal perspective, I just feel like habit stacking. And also, this is a big thing. I actually just spoke about it with my personal trainer today. So I've done like January, listed all my habits and all the days, and I bought these little stickers to like put it in like on that day. Yes, I've done it, but not being too fanatical about it. So not about the intensity of anything, just I've done something and that's enough. And I said to him, I'm going to come to you at the end of January with my A4 sheet, and I will be disappointed because it will not be at a 100%. And can you just remind me that it doesn't have to be 100%? That is absolutely fine to just be mediocre. And doing something is better than not doing anything. And we are
Yes.
not perfect. We are, as humans, we're not supposed to be perfect. It's not going to work that way.
Exactly. You're doing great.
Yes, just by what I can.
Yes. Yeah. I have
How
a
about yourself?
I have a New Year's resolution this year, and it's to always, not always, say no to some things. I know some people are like, I'm going to start saying yes to things. I'm going to start saying no because I have limited capacity, and I've noticed this year I did a lot. I said yes to a lot of things. You're like, yeah, I can help with that. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do that. And then I'm tired and it falls by the wayside, like other stuff that is we have to get done. So I'm not gonna people please so much. I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna put up a boundary and have to for myself too to be like, no, that's gonna push you over. So I'm gonna say no a little bit more
That's great.
this year.
So next year you will be writing the book, the response to what's her name?
What
The
is
lady who
it?
does The Year of Yes by the lady who does Grey's Anatomy, whoever that lady is.
Yeah, rhymes, right?
Sharonda Rhimes, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the
So
year
you're gonna
of
do the book
no.
of no. The year
And
of no.
this is me like peering over like the wall. Like I'm gonna like peer over. Can I say yes to that? No. The walls are gonna be up a little bit higher. I'll still say yes to some things, but not everything. I felt like I wanted to help. I wanted to have my hands and everything and help out, but it's too much. So
Yeah. And also sometimes prioritize the fun things out over the
yeah.
yeah. I suffer a bit from saying always yes to fun things. so I think I have to just pull back slightly because there will not be much of me left if I continuously just say yes to all the fun things. I tell you, I got my appointment through for my first session at the chronic fatigue clinic.
Oh, okay.
And I can already see now. I can already hear the eye rolling that will commence when they ask me, so what's your lifestyle like and how do you rest? And I'm like, yeah.
So here's my planner. I have these like, but you know, I guess the chronic fatigue, it's not going to change your personality. You're going to be like, you want to do all the things, but you'll just have to find different ways to navigate.
Yeah, it's just the balancing. And it's just, I think it's also, I think the thing that I really want them to fix, and I know they probably can't, but the thing that annoys me the most about the fatigue thing is when I get emotional, the instant fatigue that follows. So, for example, that Friday when I got really angry about this doctor thing, it was about half an hour later. I looked at Nick and he was like, "Has it hit you?" I'm like, "Yes." Oh, my eyes were like, he said, I can see your eyes are glazed over your. He said you stop, like you're still smiling but without your face. And you just sort of go a bit pale, and you're just like,
oh, he knows. He knows.
Oh, he said he can see it on the eyes. He's like, your eyes glaze over. And he says, I always have to amend the way I communicate with you because I know 80% of it is not going in. It's not penetrating. I'm like, yeah. Very true,
Use keywords.
Yeah. So yeah, and the same happens when I get really happy and excited. So when something, I can't reveal what yet, but something really good happened before Christmas. I got an email I got invited to something quite prestige and cool, which I will tell you about in the next episode, hopefully. But I had a whole day's work planned. I was clearing my inbox, really going to plan, and then this happened, and I got so excited, I exhausted myself for the rest of the day. I straight away in my head had like visions of this and that, and then was walking around the house and then having a totally inner monologue of this fantastic opportunity, and then went, oh yeah, I'm really tired now. I can't concentrate. I need to lay down.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So, yeah,
you, either way, it's I get mad.
balance.
Yeah, balance and the excitement. Oh man.
So yeah, so I'll look forward to see what they say that could help me with that.
Yeah.
Oh, God knows. But yeah, so, but also the healthy habits and the habit stacking will hopefully help, and we'll see. Actually, my friend brought something up that I did actually think about that could be really helpful. She's a really busy mum and she's got ADHD. And she says sometimes she just needs to go and stare at the beige wall. And it made me laugh because I was like, you do what? She's like, sometimes I just need to go to the kitchen and stare at the beige wall. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I realized she wasn't kidding. She does this. She says like when the kids are screaming, it's just all getting a bit too much. She will yell beige wall at her husband, which means she's exiting the room. And she says she just stands in front of this wall, which is just beige. There's nothing else. And she just stares at it for a minute or two. And I thought, that's a really great idea.
Yeah, I totally get that. That's a good reset. I'm looking at a beige wall right now. The perfect, but I'm gonna try that out. Let me tell you, my
Yeah.
house is way overstimulated all the time. I could use a beige wall moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you're right with the overstimulation. That could be a real thing that I could probably work on because there's always something on. A TV, a radio, a podcast, a laptop, a to-do list is always within sight. So yeah, maybe you need to dial down the stimulation a bit. Maybe that will help.
Yeah, I set timers. I have ADHD as well as children. So I set timers so I can get tasks done. So I have a visual, like the visual timers that have the color so I can see it. I can't work off my timer on my phone. That doesn't work. I have to be able to see the time and how much I have left. So I set like 15-minute timer and I'll fold laundry. Once that's done, done. We have to stop. No negotiating. No like, oh, I'll just do one more. Nope. Stop. Move on to the next thing. So that's how I have to work off of. And it's really, really helpful.
Oh, that's really cool. Like, oh, okay, so like a windy clock.
Yep.
So you can see it ticking down.
Yep, and you wind it and you see like it's like a blue line, and that blue line will go smaller and smaller until it gets there, and it has like a beep, and then you can hear it and you can see it. The time is visual, like you can seeing it makes me feel like it's tangible, that I have control of it and move on to the next task. Whereas on my phone, it just I feel like it hasn't been 30 minutes. It's only been 2 minutes. I've been sitting here petting the cat. I haven't done anything like that. I need to see it.
I think that's really awesome because I have that problem. I then get into hyper focus mode. So it always takes me a long time to start a task, and then I get into it, and then I'm hyper focused, and then I should take a break. I should step away from. It's usually like a laptop thing. It's step away from the bookkeeping, go outside, or just stare at the beige wall, whatever.
Yep.
And then come back. But because I'm hyper focused, I will ignore everything and just pull through, like plow through. And then before I know it, 4 or 5 hours will have gone. And then I wonder why I've got 2 days of fatigue after. So I know that I'm like done that before and gone like, that's really stupid. So maybe like having a visual timer would be better.
Yeah, try it. Just a little, try it, see if it works. And then it's like, once it goes off, next task.
See, I love this podcast because it gives you so much random facts about life.
Yeah, see?
And little tips. It's not all about tongue cancer.
We're not all doom and gloom around here.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, not at all. So, 2025, let's talk about young tongues.
Yes.
So, if I ask you as a Young Tongues member, members of the Young Tongues, not a tongue twister at all. Wow, I could say that. What would you? What? I'm just going to put it out there. What would you like to know? Because it's easier for me to answer a question than to babble away.
What we want to know about the young tongues?
Yeah, what do you want to know about the Young Tongues in 2025?
I don't know everything.
Okay.
Okay, no, I want to know, like, has anyone approached us for like media?
Oh, cool. Well, we've had a lot of media this year, and I'm sure we'll
Mhm.
have lots more media for next year as well. Um, so, yes, so if you are a young tongue, make sure you're on our private Facebook group because I do post media opportunities in there on quite a regular basis. Now, you will notice by my accent, I am not in the US of A or in Europe, but in England. So most of those media requests come from the UK. But we do sometimes get from things, we also get things further afield. And I'm hoping, she says this, that next year in the autumn, when it's like the International Mouth Cancer Week, that we can do um, a coordinated attack, which sounds wrong, but a coordinated effort to get lots of different stories about us into your local media, specifically for that month. And we'll be doing lots of shout outs and asking people to come and join us. So yes, there's definitely stuff happening
Awesome.
on the media side. Do you want to know what our plans are for 20? I'm just going to help you here, Jamie. Do you want to know what our plans are for 2025?
Yes, Barbara, I would love to know what your plans are for the Young Tongues for 2025.
So, listeners, you can see we do not rehearse this. Okay. Okay, so let's just take the last 5-10 minutes to tell you where we are or what the sort of key things are that you need to know about upcoming plans. So the first thing in April, date is to be confirmed, but it will be in April. We have our first AGM, which is our annual general meeting. And guess what? You are all invited. So anyone who has a stake in the Young Tongues is invited along. It will be a virtual meeting. It will be in presenter mode. So there'll be a lot of me talking, but also we will introduce you to all the other trustees who have been, quite hidden so far. And I keep asking them to send me their photos. But they will be thrust into the limelight. So you'll get to know all our trustees that have been working with us for the last year. You'll also get our annual report, which is going to be my main workload for the next few weeks. So basically, it's everyone gets a copy of that. It shows you all the money we've raised, how we've spent it, and what we've spent it, and it shows you what money we have left and what we need to raise in the future and what the plans are for things that we want to do. So for example, I'll just give a quick overview. Our top priorities will be like building a new website. So we have a patient hub. So the information isn't just on the Facebook group, but also accessible on a website. And my vision for the website is that we can take people on the experience that is right for their circumstances. So for example, if you have an ulcer but haven't been diagnosed, we'll have a section that says pre-diagnosis. If you've just been diagnosed, we'll have a section called just diagnosed. If you're in treatment, after treatment, years after treatment, and so on. Just to sort of help, especially those who are newly diagnosed. I'm just always really conscious that our primary function is here to help and support, not to overwhelm. So that's where I think having everything on a website, all the resources on a website could be really helpful for lots of different people. And we're also looking to have different hubs for carers and supporters, but also for healthcare professionals and for researchers, because we've got really big visions and ambitions, which I will share with you at our AGM in April. So there's that. We also, and hopefully if Barbara has done her job, probably a couple of days later than planned, she'll see lots of announcements on our social media about virtual meetups and in-person meetups. So we're going to continue with the virtual meetups on a Sunday for Europeans evening for Americans in the morning. It's the last Sunday of the month, with the exception of February and July, because I'm on holiday and I can't get someone else in to cover for me in time, because there's unfortunately we need to do a lot of training with someone who would cover for me, but again that will be handled in the future. I'm going off track here. Anyway, there's lots of dates for virtual meetups coming up. There's also some really exciting dates for in-person meetups, which is the one thing everyone is really excited about. So we'll be having in-person meetups in London, Birmingham, Derby, Bristol, Switzerland, Pittsburgh, USA, New York, USA, and near Walt Disneyland, USA, which Jamie will tell you exactly where that is in California.
Yes.
And I'm hoping we might even have some more in-person meetups to add in other regions. That very much depends on you, my lovely young tongues. So if you are in Europe, or if you are in Australia, or in like Central America, and you would like to host an in-person meetup, please get in touch with me on info@youngtonguesglobal.com, because we are looking for a few more volunteers to host meetups in those regions, and we'll get you enrolled as a volunteer and give you all the training and everything as well. So lots of exciting plans with in-person meetups happening. And then the next big thing to look out for, which will hopefully be soon, she says, watch this space, we are going to start officially recruiting for volunteers. So we have lots of different roles. Again, we'll cover all of this in the AGM in April. We'll have a application form, and then most importantly, we'll have like an onboarding call, and then some training as well, which is why someone can't just cover me for a virtual meetup until we've done all of that. Yeah, and that will hopefully mean we'll have lots of new helpers with our social content, with our website content, with in-person meetups, maybe even some virtual meetups. And yeah, so lots and lots of plans. In terms of the podcast, me and Jamie are we're going to continue, Jamie, aren't we? I haven't actually asked. I just sort of assumed we're continuing. Yes!
I accept this rose, yes.
That's fabulous. I love it when I announce stuff and I go, I haven't actually had that conversation yet. So good. We've taken a short cast. We will be back with you for all of 2025. We're slightly tweaking. I'm not tweaking. We're evolving, because we always evolve. So we're going to continue, me and Jamie, hopefully once a month, have a catch up, talk about whatever is going on in our life and more. But we're going to continue with having patient interviews and expert interviews. So if you would like to come onto the podcast, do please get in touch on podcast@youngtonguesglobal.com. We have some really amazing interviews lined up for you early in the year, but we are looking for more guests for springtime onwards, basically. But on top of that, we are going to trial something else, and they are called panels. So from the spring onwards, just trying to be realistic to manage expectations, from the spring onwards, we are going to have once a month, we're going to have a Young Tongues podcast panel. That means we should have 4 or 5 guests join us to talk about one specific topic. And we've put a little poll in our Facebook group to ask you to feed back in what type of topics you want covered. I know already that there'll be one about talking to children about cancer, breaking news. I know there will be one, there's quite a few on radiation side effects, more specifically, but then specific side effects within that, which I can't quite remember which ones they are. Then one is about returning to work, coming back to work, or shall we say, the hurdles and challenges many of us face to return to work. And yeah, and we've got lots more ideas and plans. So again, if you're interested in that, please keep an eye out on the Facebook group, because I will be advertising it there, and we'll be looking for you, my lovely people, to join us on the panels. So yeah, I'm going to catch a breath now.
Wow.
What do you think about all these plans, Jamie?
Oh my gosh. No, it's really exciting. Like, this has grown so much in this last year. Like, it's exciting. Like, I'm not saying no to Young Tongues. That is not part of my 2025. Not part of
I'm so glad.
I say yes. I say yes.
Say yes.
I'll say yes. Like, I think this is, it's amazing. Like, how much that's very ambitious, and I am here for it. So we're gonna get all this done with above and beyond, I'm sure. Like,
absolutely.
It's just exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, that was just the beginning. I have a whole load more.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So it's really, really exciting. And I just remembered, since we went on last time, actually, I can't remember if I've already mentioned it. If I have, sorry. But if I haven't, we also have a new Facebook group called the Young Tongues Lifers, which is for anyone who has been told their cancer is no longer curable. So I thought it was really important to have this separate, smaller space, just so people can talk about their experiences and also exchange resources and ideas, and, be there for each other. To have that another safe space for anyone who finds themselves in those situations. But otherwise, we still have the main group for like all the other questions, and it's so good to see it, so lively. I was really touched over the Christmas period to read many of the posts, and how supportive everybody's been, even in this really busy time. So thank you all for being awesome humans, and for supporting us and making the Young Tongues what it is, because I wouldn't be able to do this job and do this without the support of all of you, which means accepting help when you need it, but also sharing your knowledge to others. So thank you for that.
Yes, we're really happy you're here.
Yeah, really happy you're here. On that note, shall we say Happy New Year, wishing you a fantastic start to 2025. I've already rattled off all the email addresses, but if you just one more time, podcast@youngtonguesglobal.com to come and join us on the podcast. We would love to have you, and make sure you follow us on all the social media. You've joined the Young Tongues supporting group, the Lifers group, if that's the support you need, or if you are a carer or a supporter or even a healthcare professional, we have a Young Tongues supporters group, which could really do with a little boost of people coming in and sharing their stories on there as well. So, Jamie, thank you, my lovely co-host. It's such a delight to spend these hours with you, and I feel like I've got another sister on the other side.
I love doing this podcast, and I genuinely I'm so happy, and I'm filled with I just really love what we're doing, because I remember not having anyone, and now we have this community of people where we can get answers, and I'm really grateful for all the hard work that you have been doing and building this up, and I'm looking forward to 2025 and Young Tongues being even bigger with the getting out there and people knowing about us. So it's really exciting.
It is indeed. Well, thank you so much for listening, everyone. Have a fantastic New Year's. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.